This level of communication makes it seem like he was putting in a lot of work to get around the monitoring systems and maybe change the result of his case. However, Combs would go to such great lengths to set up these secret lines of communication. Prosecutors say the clear goal was to force witnesses to stay quiet or give evidence that was helpful to him. Combs is said to have been trying to obstruct justice by trying to change witness evidence, which is a serious crime that could have major effects on his trial. Combs has been denied bail more than once, with judges citing concerns about witness tampering as a major reason. This shows how serious these accusations are. In November 2024, he was refused bail for the third time. The judge said that he should stay in jail because there was a high chance that witnesses would be tampered with. These claims of witness blackmail are not happening by themselves. They are part of a larger pattern of actions that prosecutors say shows Combs tried to stop the law from working and change the results of his trial. In addition to the unauthorized communications, there are also claims of manipulation on social media and efforts to leak information to change public opinion. We'll talk more about these issues in the next part of our coverage. So, before we go any further, it's important to note that Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges, including more than 24 civil cases and claims of sexual assault. In general, his lawyers have fought against the prosecution's story. Even though they haven't directly responded to the claims of illegal phone calls and comments made public. As the case goes on, the accusations of trying to blackmail witnesses and tampering with evidence are still at the heart of the legal processes against Diddy Combs. Misusing social media and trying to sway a jury. Let's talk about another crazy part of this story. How Dude is said to have tried to use social media efforts to change how people saw him and maybe even mess up the jury pool. As we've already said, Combs is currently waiting to be tried on charges that include sex trafficking, racketeering, and transporting people to work as prostitutes. Because he is a big-time music mogul, the case has become more difficult, especially when it comes to choosing jurors. A lot of media coverage, including on social media sites, has made the accusations well known to many possible jurors. This makes it hard to find fair people to serve on the jury. Authorities say that this situation seems to have been used for gain. Court documents from November 2024 say that Combs told his family, especially his kids, to run social media campaigns that were meant to change how people saw him and maybe even taint the jury pool. These claims point to a planned effort to use social media to get an unfair edge in court, which brings up important moral and legal issues about how jurors can be swayed. A specific example given in the court documents is a video shared on social media on Combs' birthday, November 4, 2024. Reports say that Combs' son, Justin, posted a video with 6 of his children in it. One of them joined via FaceTime to wish Combs a happy birthday while he was in prison. It might look like a simple birthday wish, but when you think about what's really going on, it doesn't feel that way. Prosecutors say Combs watched the analytics of this footage and talked with his family about how to make sure it had the effect prosecutors wanted on possible jurors. This suggests that Combs wanted to change the outcome of the trial. The fact that the tape came out so close to the trial has been pointed out as a deliberate attempt to humanize Combs and possibly change the public's and jurors' minds. Something like that can only be messed up by a real snake. This information has been shared by several news sites, giving us a good picture of what's happened. Combs has been refused bail more than once, with judges citing concerns about tampering with witnesses as the main reason. He was denied bail for the third time in November 2024. The judge said he should stay in jail because he posed a major risk of tampering with witnesses. Because of this ruling, Combs has been held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn until his trial, which is a big L for any defendant. The fact that bail was denied shows how seriously the court is taking these accusations of trying to stop the investigation and messing with witnesses. But this affects more than just bail trials. These claims, if proven true, could lead to more charges of hindering justice, messing with witnesses, or contempt of court. These new charges would add to the already important ones against Combs, which could make his sentence harsher if he is found guilty. Judge Arun Subramanian said no to Combs's request to silence all possible witnesses on November 8, 2024, pointing out the accuser's right to free speech. Combs' court plan took another hit with this decision, showing that the court cares about keeping the justice system honest and making sure witnesses are free to talk about what they've been through. There has also been disagreement in the court case about the search of Combs' jail cell. Combs' lawyers fought the search of his jail cell, saying it went against his rights under the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments. They said the materials taken were protected by attorney-client privacy.
This challenge shows how complicated the constitutional problems are in this case, especially when it comes to the rights of defendants who are in jail. However, the proof found during this search has been used by prosecutors to back up their claims. They say they have found proof that Combs tried to blackmail other people and swayed a witness by using other prisoners' phone access codes and a third-party communication service to get in touch with people who weren't supposed to be there. If this proof is allowed, it could make the prosecution's case a lot stronger. People are talking in the streets outside of court. Some people have said that the popular song lists on social media are like the famous Epstein list. But there is one big difference. The Epstein list was based on real court papers and flight logs, but these Diddy lists are mostly guesses. Even though Combs has been hit with some crazy claims on sites like X, formerly Twitter, he is responding by suing Courtney Burgess and his lawyer Ariel Mitchell for $50 million for defamation, saying they made up proof and spread false claims about minors. But what are the real charges against Combs? There are 5 counts in the FBI indictment. He is being charged with racketeering and transportation for prostitutes. His trial is set to start on May 12, 2025. Prosecutors say Combs planned elaborate parties where drugs were used and people were forced to perform and were threatened with being silenced. They say that his criminal business went on for 20 years and that many of his workers and business partners were involved in different crimes. It's also important to look at the bigger picture of these accusations. In addition to the criminal charges he is currently facing, Combs is also facing dozens of civil cases that say he forced and abused men and women, with some claims including using video recordings to blackmail people and making threats against witnesses. Several cases involve claimed assaults on victims under the age of 18, which makes the situation even worse. Even though these civil cases are not related to the criminal case, they add to the picture of Combs' alleged behavior and may change how people see the current claims. This story has been talked about a lot by activist Jaguar, right? The stakes are very high in this case. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Combs could get a minimum term of 15 years if he is found guilty. The severity of the charges against him, such as trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to participate in prostitution, is reflected in this possible sentence. There have been claims of witness tampering and juror manipulation during the trial, which began on May 5, 2025. Combs' fame and the fact that the case has been covered by the media so much have made the jury selection process especially hard. But reports say that many possible jurors already knew about the accusations from reading about them in the media and on social media sites. This makes it hard to find truly fair people to serve on the jury. This task brings to light one of the bigger issues this case raises: how fame, social media, and the justice system all affect each other. These days, facts and lies can spread faster than a hot track, which makes it harder to make sure that high-profile suspects get a fair trial. There have been claims of manipulation on social media sites in this case, which shows how these sites could be used to change the court process. The reaction from Combs' legal team is another important thing to think about. In public comments, they have mostly denied the bigger accusations against him, but they haven't said anything specific about the claims of making unwanted phone calls or manipulating social media. This lack of a clear denial gives room for interpretation, which makes the case even more controversial. One comment from Erica Wolf, one of Combs' lawyers, responds to the claims in a general way. Mr. Combs' lawyers have said they can't respond to every false accusation in what has turned into a dangerous media circus. Also, Mr. Combs strongly and completely rejects as false and hurtful any claims that he has get anyone, even children. He's excited to prove his innocence and clear his name in court if and when claims are made and served. That's where the truth will be found based on facts, not guesses. Sean Diddy Combs is facing some of the worst accusations of his career, but his lawyers have only partially responded. They have strongly denied the general accusations of scams, but they haven't said anything about the specific accusations of witness fraud and jury manipulation. Because these accusations are such a big part of why Combs is still in jail, this break is important. It might be a smart move by his lawyers given that the case is still going on and that making a mistake in public could have serious consequences. People in the courts have already felt the effects of these claims. Combs has been turned down for bail more than once. Judges said they were worried about possible witness tampering as a main reason. Judge Aaron Subramanian turned down Combs' bail request in November 2024, saying that if he was freed, there was a high chance that he would change witnesses' stories. Because of this, Combs has been locked up at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn during the pretrial time. This is a big problem for anyone trying to put together a complicated legal defense. But these claims have effects that go far beyond the bail case. If the claims of delay and tampering with witnesses are proven to be true, Combs could face more charges that would add to his already large number of legal problems. If he is charged with obstruction of justice or contempt of court, any possible sentence could be lengthened by years. This would make his defense plan even more difficult and bring more attention to his case. In the meantime, Combs' lawyers have tried to fight some of the more intrusive ways that investigators have been looking into him. One of these things happened when his jail cell was searched, which his lawyers say was against his 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment rights. Say that things that should have been kept private between an attorney and a client were taken and are now being used against him in court. But prosecutors say the search was legal and that the evidence they found, such as claimed notes about how to trick witnesses and phone access codes from other prisoners, supports their claims of ongoing obstruction. These claims of messing with witnesses and manipulating the jury not only make Combs' legal strategy look bad, but they also make people worry about power and influence in the criminal justice system as a whole. What does it say about the fairness of the legal system if a famous defendant like Combs can supposedly use his power to sway witnesses and change how the public sees him? This case is a stark reminder of how important it is to have strong protections for the legal system, no matter how rich or famous the defendant is. These claims have effects outside of courtrooms. They are sending shockwaves through the entertainment, business. The hip-hop community is about to face a reckoning as more people come forward to say they were abused or exploited by strong people. It used to be that no one could get in touch with Combs, but now he's in a tough spot with a lot of criminal and civil cases piling up. The current criminal case began in November 2023 when Cassie Ventura, whose real name was Cassandra Ventura, filed a claim saying she had been abused and forced to do things she didn't want to do for years. The case was settled out of court the very next day after it was filed, but it let a lot of people in. In March 2024, police searched several of Combs' homes and seized more than 100 electronic devices. They also questioned more than 50 witnesses. And just when you think things can't get any crazier, 50 shares a shocking video in which he says that Diddy may have had something to do with Tupac's death. What does he have to say now? Watch this video to find out everything. 50 Cent says that on October 9, 2023, he shared a picture of Tupac riding shotgun in a black car with Suge Knight, who used to be the CEO of Death Row Records. The picture has become famous. 50 Cent wrote, "Damn, Sopac got lined by brother love next to the picture. It's time to get a lawyer." It could get sticky. Fans and foes of Diddy were both shocked by 50 Cent's bold claims, which made people wonder if they were true and what his intentions were. Because of the reaction, 50 Cent went on stage during his Final Lap tour to talk about the problems caused by what he said about P. Diddy. In a video that went popular on the internet, 50 Cent can be seen jokingly talking to the crowd and admitting that what he said had an effect on people and that he needs therapy to help him deal with the effects of what he said. He talked about his anger by saying, he shared a personal struggle. I know. I said crazy. These words only made things worse and sparked a new discussion about rumors that Diddy had something to do with Tupac's death. Over the years, Diddy has famously avoided talking about the subject, which has only led to more rumors and conspiracy theories.